Alrighty, folks, she's back. We are so happy to have her. She's just off of a cruise to the Bahamas. And if you didn't catch the end of video number one, Anna and I are talking about doing a real estate-based event together. So I would like to hear from anyone interested in going to that. I think we need 25 rooms to make it economical for the cruise to give us our stuff. So if you would come to an event like that, let us know below. We're just doing a straw poll because I think both of us would be up for it. We want to make sure that we could fill up the rooms. But now, Anna, let's talk about something that I think is worse today, but in reality has always been there. And that is the volume and loudness of doom. Doom has always
Yes.
been big business. Newspapers, the media has always fed us doom. 28 minutes of a
Yes.
30-minute news broadcast or murders and fires and this and token 2 minutes of goodness. With social media, we now have a
Yes.
feed that we self-curate that often makes us feel bad. You and I have been in this game for 20, 30 years. I want us to go back to 20 years ago because I don't know about you. I had friends, contacts that were always glass half empty, always doomers. It just
Yes.
wasn't in the face of us. And then I want to talk about what happened to them and what happened to us, frankly. So again, doom is big business. It has
Yes.
always been big business, but it's not helpful for building wealth, in my opinion. What do you say?
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think when I got started, things were pretty much rah rah. Starting in 1998 until about the dot-com crisis, and then until Enron fell, and then all of a sudden, 2008 forward, it's been, mostly doom since 2008. So for the last, 15 years at this point, and a lot of books are written on doom. To your point, the news. I mean, I watch very little news live anymore. I check the front page of Fox and CNN, and then I look because it's like two different worlds, two different
Smart.
universes,
Yeah.
even though it's the same story, right? And then I look at financial news. But if you watch a lot of stuff on the news, on YouTube, books that are most popular, they are very much in the negative. And why we feed into that, I'm not so sure, from a human psychology standpoint. But what I do know is that when you're fed doom all the time, you have fear, and fear is paralyzing, and it'll keep you from seeing opportunity and taking opportunity because you're just too afraid of any risk. And what I see in a lot of circles, a lot of real estate events, a lot of real estate forums, is people have been, and even more so in the last year and a half, so afraid that they just stop doing the work. They just say, it's too risky, and therefore they're out. And that's good for us as investors, because when fear is rampant, that's where opportunity, is the most, and we have the biggest chance to really make a lot of money. But if you are consumed with negative news, you will miss the boat because you will be too afraid, and won't have an opportunity to change your life where opportunity exists.
Yeah, the most important thing I've just come to realize, and this hit me hard over the weekend when I was talking to one of my other millionaires, your social media feed needs to be treated as an asset, because if you don't treat it like an asset, it is a liability. How many
Mm,
people out there, when they look at their social media feed and then they put it down, are in a worse mood? They're scared, they're afraid, they're
yes.
mad, they're angry. If your social media feed is doing that to you, delete the app. Your
Right.
social media feed can be an asset. My social media feed is all about people doing the work. We're not oblivious. It's not just all raw raw. It's like we're just trying to find the silver lining in everything.
Right.
And you can self curate a positive feed. When you put this damn device down, you should feel better, not worse.
Yes. Right. And encouraged and inspired, right? There are people like us, we're telling you the good, bad, and the ugly, right? There is some ugly, and there are things that we have to be worried about and cautious about, and risks that we have to figure out how do we mitigate so that we can move forward with the opportunities that we see. So, you really need to be realistic, but also have optimism. And I'm an eternal optimist, right? Because I know that I can do something that will make tomorrow better than it might be for a lot of different people. And so you have to have that optimism and that inspiration from other people that are doing well, that are continuing to move forward in times of turbulence or uncertainty in order to encourage you that it can happen and it can happen to you. Too many people think, oh, that's just Michael, that's just Anna, right? That's just, Ken McElroy or whoever. And they think that can't happen to me. And that's that negativity of just seeing so many people, like you said, complaining about kind of this victim mentality is all the rage through social media. I mean, every single day I saw some things today. I was on a travel website because I'm looking at excursions and things for the next year. And it was just everybody complaining about the airlines and complaining about this and that and wanting to sue. And it's, we have too much of this doom and gloom, and then feeling like if it's bad out there for everybody, it's going to be bad for me. And then it's poor me. And then you just lose sight of the joy and the opportunities that are out there. So something that you said that I think is really important about social media is you can curate it. There was a good Netflix series, and I forget what it's called, but it was basically like a social dilemma. And it talked about how on Facebook, Twitter and others, etc., when you look at something and you like or you comment or you even slow down to start reading a little bit and then keep going, the social media knows what you like, and then they give you more of that. So if you're constantly liking the negative news, the doom and gloom stories, they're going to give you more of that because they know that you'll stay engaged because that's what you've shown them that you like. So negativity breeds negativity. If you want positivity, delete all of the people that you follow or the groups that you follow that's nothing but doom and gloom, and then start liking purposefully the stuff that's more positive, and you'll start seeing a change to your social media. So, you really, what you look at and what you feed into, it really impacts your emotions and the way that you think. And so, as I think there's a phrase, it's like, as a man, thinketh he is. And so however you feed your mind with good things and positive things and joy, you're going to have more of that. If you feed your mind with doom and gloom, you're going to have too much of that. And it's not helpful to you. It can slow down your goals. It can slow down your joy and your optimism for life.
Yeah, I think it is so important. And I just went through this. So I wasn't on Twitter forever. I just started a Twitter page, one rental at a time. And I think I'm at like 3,500, I don't know what they're called, subscribers or followers or whatever. But anyways, as I was trying to grow, I was interacting with more and more bigger channels, right? Twitter famous people. And what I realized is some of the people I interacting with are doomers. And my feed, because I was interacting with them, to your point, was coming increasingly negative. I mean, I was becoming
Yes.
annoyed by my feed. And I finally realized, thanks to Jason's conversation on Sunday, that I need to own that. And in a short 3 days, I blocked all the doomers, even if they were Twitter famous, because they're not helping me. They're not feeding me.
Right.
My Twitter feed is so positive today. 3 days later, just because I got rid of the poison.
Yeah.
It is really that simple. Your social media feed is an asset or it is a liability. I don't see
Right.
there's no middle ground. It's one or the
Right.
other. And I will purposely make it an asset.
Yeah, I think that's really important. One thing I would say, just as a caution, too, is that we want to see positive, and it's important, as we just mentioned, but it is important to selectively choose people that might be more negative about real estate. They might be more negative about the economy, but they have 30, 40 years experience, right? If they're warning you about things to look out for, so I'll give you an example. Some people call Ray Dalio a doomer. I don't. Ray Dalio is a very experienced investor, internationally, and he's given us some books on principles of a changing world order and principles of navigating big debt crises that if you really read them, you think, oh man, we could be headed down a really dangerous path. But if they have solutions, like here's some problems, but here's some solutions, or here's some ways we think through this and navigate this, I want to hear from those experienced voices that say, here's the risks for you to think about, but don't just let them get you down and make you paralyzed. That's a doomer. If they're giving you things to be careful about, that can be very valuable for us to weigh on the scales against the stuff that's just optimistic, because there's also some risk in listening to too many voices that are all high in the sky, everything's great, when there are, some headwinds that make things a challenge for us. So we want to be wise investors, and we do that by surrounding ourselves with voices that are older, that are wiser, who've really experienced these things, but then are telling us, how do you navigate that? And that's what you and I try to do on this channel all the time, right? Is we
Yeah.
speak the truth, the good, bad, and ugly, but
Yep.
always end on, now what is good about this? How do we find the
That's the keys.
opportunity in the midst of all of the clouds of uncertainty? And it's really important for you to be able to move forward, to have that balance, think through it, and then say, okay, I have enough optimism and confidence in myself that with the right people around me, I can move forward and I can create an amazing life despite, the people that are the naysayers and think that,
Yeah.
the sky is falling and will forever.
That is the real key to me. There's really two things you said. One is, again, there's a lot of challenges today.
Mhm.
I would argue that it might be the most challenging environment I've seen in the last 25 years. You can at least make that
Yes.
argument. But it is that, now what? Doomers don't do that, right? If you question someone's a doomer, click on their name, go to their last 10, 11 posts, and it will be obvious. If they are
Yes.
preaching fear and fear alone, they're a doomer.
Hmm.
Second, in today's social media world, we have renters in their mom's basement who are talking about not buying real estate because they never have, and telling you not to. They have not
Right.
built any wealth other than social media following, and they could be making 3, 4, 5,000 a day preaching fear. They will
Right.
not stop unless you stop watching them. It's
Right.
it is crazy to think about.
So true. So true. And that's another really good point, is not everything on social media is real. Okay. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of people that make a lot of money on social media, that don't have real experience, that don't have real wealth, and they make all their money on clicks. And while I am like pro, wow, you're a great, IT entrepreneur in this digital age, it's really important that you listen to people that have been there, that have, the proof to show the experience that they have. A lot of conferences, a lot of teachers, what I see, and I saw this in 2009, was jaded by a fraud, guru that
Yeah.
claimed a lot of experience that she didn't have. But you see, when real estate's really tough, everybody creates a course,
Hmm.
everybody creates events, and they suddenly are experts, when I may know that they've only been doing this for 2 years, right? And in 2 really good years for the
Yeah.
economy, and suddenly they're experts. So whoever you listen to, on channels, on social media, for sure, if they're offering a course or an event, and listen, you and I do too. So this isn't like negativity. There's a need for people to have really good information, but make sure you check out the credentials and the real experience of the people that you're following and listening to. It's really, really important, especially in times like this.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the reasons I wrote One Rental at a Time. One Rental at a Time is not a how-to book. It's, hey,
Yeah.
I lost 150,000 bucks in the stock market. Now what? And oh, by the
Right.
way, bought some houses before the run up, did some cool things at the top to exit 1030. It's a story about how somebody built financial freedom from a wreck of a loss. So, Anna, where can
Absolutely.
people find you?
Great. You can find me here every week on your show. And you can find me on social media at Anna Kelly, REI Mom. And for coaching and consulting, my website is reimom.com.
Thank you so much. And don't forget, who's coming to the cruise that Anna and I might put together. If we get 25 couples, we might just start planning it. Thanks, Anna.
Absolutely. Yeah, leave us a comment.